This week's Doc Talk is a little different from the others, and so is the topic. We know how important it is to discuss and talk about mental health issues, and the increasing awareness regarding mental health in the present times has made us come to terms with the reality of the whole situation. But a largely ignored aspect of mental health is the postpartum mental health, a condition which most of the women go through. Your pregnancy and your postpartum period is one of the most hormonal and very crazy time in your life, and most of the people tend to ignore it. Postpartum mental health is an issue which requires a lot of attention and a lot of awareness as well. I have been there, I have done that, and I know what it feels like. So this is the reason why I thought this issue requires another perspective as well. So I am welcoming Dr. Vrunda Patel, who is a psychiatrist, and she will be joining us for this Doc Talk. Welcome Vrunda, welcome to our Doc Talk.
Thanks Ravina, thanks for inviting me.
So Vrunda and I, we have been friends since the past 10 years now, and we have been through this harrowing journey of going through the medical school and becoming medical professionals as well.
Thanks for that amazing introduction, Ravina.
So Vrunda, before we start discussing about postpartum depression and the different symptoms that happen, I would like to share my personal journey with you. My postpartum period was a really life-changing experience for me. On one hand, it was the most happiest moment of my life. You know, I longed to hold my baby in my arms for the first time. But really, I was not able to enjoy that moment. And the first few days were spent with, just adjusting to the baby sleeping and waking up so many times at night, having pain after the anesthesia effect went away. And then when I even went home, it was even worse. And I would even start crying and, getting angry at even the tiniest things that went wrong. In spite of being a gynecologist, at that point I could not understand that this was the baby blues that was happening to me. So, it went away after a few days. So in a week or two, it was all okay. But I am sure that most of the women would have faced this. What do you have to say on that?
You're very right, Ravina. You're not the first person who's told me this. I get to hear this very often that, and approximately 80%, that is 4 in 5 women who give birth to a child, they go through this. They experience baby blues, and it is a very normal condition. Immediately giving birth to a baby, the women have wide range of emotions. They have a variety of mood symptoms. They are sometimes sad, they are sometimes anxious, they are sometimes restless, sometimes they are just happy, sometimes they are tearful. It's whether there are so many thoughts going on in their head at a time. Whether my baby is sleeping well or not, why is the baby crying, am I taking care of the baby correctly, why is everybody giving me so many advices, am I going to be a good mother, will I ever be able to accommodate to this new life, and it is a very normal reaction to that change in life.
Yeah, so it is kind of a reaction that your body gives to a stress, and believe it or not, people don't realize it, but pregnancy itself and also postpartum itself is a stress to your body, right? And I think this is your body's way of giving reaction to that.
Very correct. During pregnancy, there is a rise in estrogen, progesterone. You must definitely know placental hormones, and following delivery, there is abrupt withdrawal of these hormones. There is sudden shift in hormones. Then there is this increased sense of awareness, of increased responsibility. The mother sometimes is very apprehensive regarding her own abilities as a mother, whether she'll be a good mother or not. Then there are so many relatives, people advising her, do this, don't do this, this is not the way you breastfeed a baby, this is not the way you put the baby to sleep, so there are too many people giving you advices. So it all together, it creates this constellation of symptoms with the mother. However, it is a normal condition, so it generally goes away in a few days.
So baby blues are seen, I think 3 to 5 days after giving birth.
Yes.
And then they go away within 15 to 20 days,
Yes,
right?
yes.
If anything continues more than that, then that is part of a postpartum depression, which we will be talking about later on.
Yes. So see, as I said, since it is a normal reaction to stress or change, the only thing that is required is a supportive family environment.
Very correct.
The family should try not to bombard the mother with too many advices. The family should try not to criticize her behavior, not to criticize the way she's reacting. The family should just support her, share her responsibilities, and sometimes that is enough. This is the only care that the family should take, and no specific treatment is required for this condition. However, in some cases, like in approximately 15 to 20% of cases, this condition may progress beyond 2 weeks, beyond 3 weeks, and that is when we call it postpartum depression.
Right. So in baby blues, it does not need any treatment, but the only thing is proper counseling to the family and proper care and support from the family. While when we talk about postpartum depression, it is a very different kind of a scenario. Can you tell us what postpartum depression is, how it starts, and what is the time frame of the symptoms?
Yes. So see, postpartum depression is a slightly severe version of baby blues. You can say it is a condition that is characterized by a spectrum of symptoms that range from very mild to moderate to severe. In mild cases, the mother may be just low, sad, sometimes tearful, sometimes crying. The mother may there can be changes in her appetite, there can be changes in her sleep pattern. These are the symptoms that are generally seen in mild or moderate cases.
Correct.
But in some cases, it may progress to a severe condition in which the mother may be suicidal. Sometimes the mother may develop suicidal tendencies, child harming, self-harming tendencies, and that is when the condition requires careful monitoring, because some female may act on these tendencies. So this condition requires very vigilant careful monitoring.
True. So when do the symptoms of postpartum depression start showing up?
See, generally postpartum depression, the onset of postpartum depression is within 8 to 12 weeks following a delivery. So it is in that period when the women will start showing symptoms.
Correct. And then it needs immediate attention, as you said. So are there any risk factors which are associated, like any factors due to which any woman is more predisposed to have postpartum depression, and whether or not postpartum depression has an impact in the future mental health of the lady?
Yes. So see, it is a condition, it is a multifactorial condition. A single factor is not responsible for causing postpartum depression. So there are biological factors, like some female are just genetically predisposed to postpartum depression, like females, women who have past history of depression, who have past history of bipolar mood disorder, who have family history of bipolar mood or disorder or depressive disorder. These women are at high risk of developing postpartum depression. Then there are some changes in the neurotransmitters, there are some changes in the neural circuits that causes postpartum depression. Then as we have talked, there are many social factors and personal factors.
Yes, very important. Social factors are a really important part.
Yes, so like too many customs, like what happens in our setting is following the birth of a baby, the mother is always expected to keep her baby on the priority list, and that is fine, but sometimes the mother does not have time for herself. It's like on one hand there are so many customs going on the other hand she has to take care of the baby, on the other hand she has to meet with the demands of family as well.
There are a lot of elders and everyone who is giving so many advices, and for them it is completely okay that this is something that happens after giving birth. This is okay to have every lady goes through this, and if you complain about it, then you are not strong enough for it.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the reason this whole symptom, all the symptoms of postpartum depression are ignored in our country specifically. It's a culture, thing in our culture, I guess.
Very true. It's taken very lightly that
Yeah.
you will go through this and it is okay. You do not require any psychiatric treatment. Psychiatric treatment to ganda mate hoy. Something like that. So
Yeah, and so it is very important that anytime any mother who shows symptom of postpartum depression, it is the responsibility of their family members to go to a doctor, seek help whenever it is possible, and help her in whatever way it is necessary, because it can lead to even more severe symptoms, right, Vrunda?
Yes.
We have also seen cases where it has progressed to postpartum psychosis as well. Can you just tell us something about it?
yeah, so see, the most severe of postpartum mental health issues is postpartum psychosis.
Correct.
Now, even though it is a very rare condition, it generally happens in like 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 500 pregnancies, but it is a very debilitating condition that impairs the mother's overall functioning and her ability to take care of herself and her baby. So in some cases what happens is that the mother may develop this false belief, a very strong false belief that the baby is dead or the baby is defective. Sometimes the mother may not recognize her own baby, her husband, her family members. Sometimes the mother may start hearing voices. The voices would tell her to kill herself. The voices would tell her to kill her baby.
Right.
And in some cases, the mother may be completely disoriented, disorganized, not taking care of her baby, not breastfeeding her baby. And this condition requires immediate attention.
Correct.
Because some women have acted on such voices or such thoughts.
Very
beliefs.
true. Actually, even we had one of our patients who came to us because the family members were complaining to us that she's not taking care of the baby. She does not even she just disregards the baby, that this is not her baby. And then after some days she had suicidal tendencies as well. We later on did refer her to a psychiatrist because it needs intensive treatment actually. But it's a very severe condition. And what kind of treatment options do we see for the postpartum psychosis?
Okay, so see, we have antipsychotic drugs for postpartum psychosis, and people generally have this notion that psychiatric medicines should not be given during pregnancy, which is somewhere true. However, there are some safe medicines as well.
Correct.
And that can be given to a nursing mother as well, a mother
Yes.
who's breastfeeding.
Yes.
So I'll tell you about a case that I came across.
Yeah.
So I was called to see a patient in gynec ward. I think that was the 4th or 5th postpartum day. And it was a young first-time mother. She underwent complicated pregnancy and a complicated delivery.
Okay.
And when I went to see her, she was completely disoriented. She could not recognize her husband. She denied that she's married. She denied that she's ever been pregnant. She was not able to recognize her baby. She could not acknowledge the fact that she was in a hospital, and she just maintained that she's in a live-in relationship and she is here to find her partner.
Oh.
Sometimes she would tell me that sometimes she would refer the ward boy as her partner. Sometimes she would tell me that the other patient's relative is her partner. And since she was since she was not aware that she had given birth to a baby, she was not breastfeeding her baby. She was not even touching her baby.
Correct.
Okay, so then later on she was put on antipsychotics. Within a week or two, she started showing some improvement.
Correct. So I think it is very important to diagnose it at the correct time and start treatment immediately, because the treatment has a lot of good recovery later on.
Yes.
And also wanted to ask you if what are the risk factors for postpartum psychosis? So somebody who has already had a mental problem in the past, any major disorder, are they at a more risk of postpartum psychosis, or it can happen to anyone?
Definitely, a person who has a past or family history of mood disorders or say psychotic disorders are definitely at high risk. However, people who do not have such histories, even they can develop postpartum psychosis.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about one more case. So I had this patient, a young female, again first time mother, and she was going through some problems in her life, with her in-laws and with her own parents, but she did not have any major psychiatric problem.
Yeah.
After a week or two of her delivery, she started hearing voices. The voices were telling her that she has been sexually abused by her uncle, and that she should feel guilty about it. She has disappointed her husband, she has disappointed her in-laws, and she does not deserve to live. She these symptoms lasted for few days, and however, unlike the other case, she was very protective about her baby, about her husband. She would not let anybody touch her baby. She was excessively preoccupied with her baby's health. She should keep on checking her baby.
So very protective,
Very
and
protective.
not letting anyone touch the baby.
Yes. And after a week of developing symptoms, she jumped off the terrace of her hospital building.
Oh my God.
She suffered injuries. She survived. She was later shifted to a psychiatric unit where she was started on antipsychotics. She recovered. However, she took longer to recover as compared to the first case, but she did.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and so it is actually a treatable condition.
Okay.
What is important is that immediate attention. Sometimes the family patient would obviously not recognize that she is ill. Family fails to recognize her symptoms. They do not consult gynecologist or psychiatrist, and the symptoms progress, and generally.
So Vrunda, now that we know that this condition can be a really grave condition, what are the different signs and the symptoms which the mother's family members can look out for, and then just get help immediately from any doctor?
Yes. So when the mother is persistently low, not talking to anybody, not participating in her caregiving duties, not she is not sleeping well, she is not eating well, and all this unrelated to her caregiving duties, to her baby duties. And so when she is extremely fatigued throughout the day, so when these symptoms are there, and when they are there for more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks persistently, then we should consider it a case of postpartum depression.
Correct. So the timing is also very important, because for reaching out to a diagnosis, whether this is postpartum depression or baby blues, or even if it is a worse condition which is postpartum psychosis. But unfortunately, in our society, motherhood is so highly romanticized that people tend to glorify the pain that comes along with motherhood. What women need in this time is your love and care, and whenever you feel like this condition needs help, then you immediately get help with a proper medical professional. Please do not ignore any signs of postpartum depression and psychosis. In the end, this was a lovely chat with you, Vrunda, and it was lovely having you on our show.
Thank you for having me here, Ravina.
It was a wonderful time for us. Hope you had a great time as well, and I hope this was helpful for a lot of you out there. Please let us know if you like this doc talk, this different version of our doc talk, and if you want any more any more doc talks like this in the future, and if you have any queries or questions regarding postpartum mental health, do feel free to drop them in the comment section below, and Vrunda will have us answering them in no time, right Vrunda?
Sure.